Hello and welcome to Deccan Herald's continuing coverage of election results of 5 states that went to the polls in February and March. Do track our coverage on deccanherald.com. We are joined by Sanjay Pandey from Lucknow, Gautam Dheer from Punjab, and Sumir Karmakar from Guwahati to analyze for us the election results. We are also hoping that Sumit Pande, who keeps an eagle eye both on UP and Uttarakhand, will also join us shortly. The elections were held in the context of farm protests, joblessness, inflation, and in UP, the menace of stray cattle. The elections were also held in the context of the Bharatiya Janata Party having done spectacularly well in the 2019 Lok Sabha polls, but after that, for 10 subsequent assembly polls, the BJP failed to reach the majority mark. It came closest to that mark in Assam. Let me go first to Sanjay ji. Sanjay ji, now that election trends have more or less crystallized, what is the message? Do you think the BJP's thrust on Labharthi, beneficiaries, law and order, and big infrastructure projects helped it more than the other negative problems that had saddled the Yogi Adityanath government in the last 5 years?
Well, the election trends are now more or less consolidating in favor of the BJP. Currently, the tally is around 271. I think the major factors that went in favor of the BJP was that, number one, the withdrawal of the farm bills. I think it helped the BJP in dousing the anger in the Jat community, which was in the forefront of that agitation. And it appears that the BJP, contrary to the popular perception, has done exceedingly well in the western UP region. And what we are saying that the party has swept Mathura, Agra, Muzaffarnagar also the party did very well, which was the epicenter of farm agitation. And that is why it appears that the Jat votes, I think, were divided. And I was just speaking to one of the Jat leaders a few minutes back, and he told me that the elders among the Jat community, they favored BJP, while the younger lots who suffered the brunt of joblessness, they went in favor of the RLD. The second point, it appears that the RLD gained much more from the alliance with Akhilesh Yadav. The Jats, they did not vote for the SP candidate in the same way as they voted for the RLD candidates. And I think the selection of candidates, Akhilesh, he fielded some Jat candidates from Muslim-dominated seats and Muslim candidates from Jat-dominated seats. But that didn't go well with the Jat community. There also appears to be some polarization in the Western UP region, and also in the second phase of elections, where Muslims are a dominant force in Uttar Pradesh. Now, the strange thing is that the SP alliance has done well, or seems to be doing much better in the eastern region, where it was expected that the consolidation will not be there. Their farm agitation did not have any effect there. On the whole, BJP was helped by its clinical precision machinery, the election machinery, They were able to enthuse their workers. The Prime Minister camped in Varanasi for 3 days, and BJP is now sweeping Varanasi and also some adjoining districts. It is doing very well in the central part of the state. And moreover, the alliance partners of the BJP, they appear to have delivered what the BJP wanted. And we must keep in mind that BJP this time, gave a lot more seats to its alliance partners, the Apna Dal, that is headed by Anupriya Patel, and the Nishad party of Dr. Sanjay Nishad. Both these parties are doing well, and out of the 270 seats which BJP is currently leading in Uttar Pradesh, as many as 20 seats it appears that they'll be won by its alliance partners. On the contrary, BJP's alliance partner in the eastern region, that was the Om Prakash Rajbhar's Suhel Dev Bharatiya Samaj Party, Rajbhar's party.
I'll bring in Sumit Pande into this now.
Right.
We shall discuss Punjab shortly, but since Sumit keeps an eagle eye on Uttar Pradesh as also on Uttarakhand, Sumit, there was a lot of talk about BJP's social engineering, the post-1991 social engineering, developing cracks because of Yogi Adityanath's way of governance. What happened to that? Do you think it's still intact? Do you think there are at all chinks in that? How do you explain it? How do you see it? Sumit, can you unmute yourself? Yeah. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
So, I personally feel that results are very much on the expected lines. The noise that we were hearing, and
you were the rare one to say that these will be.
Yeah, the noise that we were hearing has taken SP's vote from 21% to 32%. So there has been an increment of 10% votes. Now, in first past the post system, if we were to compare it to 2017 elections, it was more of a triangular contest. We see that BSP has melted down from 21% votes to sub 13%. There is a loss of 9 to 11% votes. BJP has won 4% votes more and is winning 50 seats less, 60 seats less. So what has happened is that Akhilesh appealed for the larger OBC mobilization in central and eastern UP, because western UP, I'll analyze it later, it's entirely different, has had some impact, especially in the Purvanchal region, where we saw that the contest was much closer. But BJP has been able to compensate for that deficit. I clearly see it from a large section of the BSP voters. That 8 to 9 to 11, 10% BSP voter coming down. I was going through some of the very particular seats in Western UP, and I wanted to see that what is the vote that some of the BSP candidates have polled. Even Muslim candidates have polled. They are polling less than 5% votes. I mean, in a polity, when charter voter unto itself is 15 to 20%, BSP voters polling 5 to 7% indicates that a section of the Dalit voters has shifted away to the BJP, and BJP was able to, in a way, compensate for that huge 10% deficit or the gain which Samajwadi Party was making. Remember, Samajwadi Party in the past has never crossed 30% mark in Uttar Pradesh polity. Their best performance was 20.6% in 2012. In a quintessential four-cornered contest, they won 224 seats. With 32% votes, they are winning not even almost half the number of seats. So I think BJP that way was able to compensate for that deficit. And secondly, I think the larger narrative, I think, which they were able to create, security, suraksha, and very targeted welfare schemes, I think they have had an impact. Traveling across UP from Saharanpur to Ghazipur, I came across people, and later when you go into the numbers, you realize that there are more than 25 lakh beneficiaries of the housing scheme. 25 lakh beneficiary means 1 crore voter, if there are 4 voters in a family. And their 1 crore voters are influencing 1 crore voters in the neighborhood, that they would be the next one to get those benefits. And that includes this 10% voter of the BSP. I think SP was able to create a buzz around it. The social justice issue, the caste census issue, it was not able to explain or break it down to the voters, especially the backward voters, what are the tangible benefits to be achieved out of a caste census. Just saying that you will have a caste census is not going to cut much ice now. The larger OBC population, and to some extent, the even Dalit population, they seem to be quite comfortable in the larger, the Hindutva umbrella which the BJP had spread, and they preferred the status quo.
Thanks.
There was an alternative, but they thought that Akhilesh was not the alternative.
Gautam, just as Sumit pointed out, that there's been some churn in UP society. Similarly, in Punjab, you see, according to EC's website, the Aam Aadmi Party's vote share right now is 42.5%. That's massive. And you see Akali Dal dropping to 18%, Congress at around 23%. So do you think this is merely just this need for desire for change, or there's some other churn also happening in Punjab?
See, what worked for the BJP in Uttar Pradesh has not worked for the BJP in Punjab. You see, as my colleague was saying, that the withdrawal of the 3 farm laws helped the BJP gain some momentum, even in Western Uttar Pradesh. But why wasn't that the case in Punjab? If they were to help in Punjab, why wouldn't the BJP have such a dismal performance, despite having an alliance with Captain Amrinder Singh's party, with a rebel outfit, and fighting perhaps more seats than ever before? So the reason is simple, that the BJP has basically been living on past laurels in Punjab, and banking on clearly on the Modi's wave. It played second fiddle to the Akali Dal for years, and it could not move out of the shadow of its big brother, the Akali Dal. And you see, Punjab is a typical example how they debunk the caste arithmetics and everything that UP and the other states denote. If the caste polarization was so dominant, the Congress or the BSP, for that matter, the other parties could have made an impact. It did not. So, as I earlier said, the Dalits in Punjab are not a homogeneous lot. They don't vote in a particular pattern. So, yes, certainly it was a clear yearning for change. But beyond that, and why this change? Because the issues that were to be addressed remained unaddressed so long. The quality of life deteriorated so much. We were going nowhere. People were and in fact, the Punjab has a lot of diaspora. The Duaba belt, which is essentially Dalit, we have a lot of NRIs from that area, and a whole lot of students from Punjab. Are fond of dollar dreams. They want to move out of Punjab because there are no jobs in this area. So, and if there are no jobs, it's a vicious circle. They fall into the cycle of drugs, which are easily available. And every house will, in fact, I travel to Makbulpura, which is a village in Amritsar, every second house has at least 1 or 2 deaths because of the drug prices. Now, when you see mothers crying, and you have all these issues that have not been addressed, and as I said, the issue of desecration of the holy books, beyond lip service, the other parties did not do anything. The Aam Aadmi Party did not have any such baggage because they were not in power. Those responsible for doing much did not left much to be desired. So it was clearly a yearning for change, and for good reasons.
Thanks, Sumir. Manipur is the only state where, while the BJP is doing well, but unlike the other 3 states where it has a government, it's not really reaching the majority mark right now, according to the trends available. However, its vote share remains around 37%, and it's leading by some distance from other players. The interesting bit is the emergence of JDU, for example, and the continued influence of NPP and NPF. Could you throw a light on what's happening in Manipur?
As of now, they are leading in 30 seats. So, out of 60, so 31 is the magic mark. So yes, NPP, and if you talk about the regional parties, NPP, their seat number is going up. They are now leading in, NPP is leading in 11 seats. They got 4 in 2017. So yes, again, JDU, talked about JDU. Yes, JDU for the first time have already won in 1 seat, and they are leading in another 4 or 5 seats.
Yes,
and which is a first for JDU in Manipur. And so if BJP gets the absolute majority, as they have been trying, so that will be a history for BJP in Manipur, because that will be for the first time that BJP will be forming the government on its own. In 2017, BJP came second after Congress. They won 21.
But can you tell us, our viewers, something about JDU? Given that seems to be a surprise package. Even NPP has increased its influence. Can you talk a little about
Yes, JDU is contesting in Manipur after several years, after about 20 years. So for this time, Manipur election was slightly interesting because 3 allies of the NDA, JDU and NPP, NPF, they contested election separately. And JDU, for the first time, they put up candidates in 38 seats out of 60. And they were, expecting to emerge as a single largest party. But yes, they are leading in 5-6 seats. But what the BJP leaders are saying, that if they need 2-3 MLA, and if they don't get the magic mark, so JDU and NPP are the 2 parties they are looking at.
Before we discuss UP further, Sumit, I would like you to throw some light on Uttarakhand. I know you track Uttarakhand closely. Uttarakhand, as we have known, never returned a government after it was created. And the BJP changed 2 of its chief ministers. There were other complaints of governance. Why is it that Uttarakhand has voted BJP a second time in succession?
Yeah, it was an election for the Congress to lose, and I think they tried their level best till the end to lose the elections. The infighting, the way the entire ticket distribution was handled, that led to a lot of problems. You had a situation wherein a leader who was as chief minister was defeated in 2 constituencies the last time around. He wanted to contest again, then he wanted to change his seat, then he wanted his daughter also to be nominated. I mean, this sort of behavior in electoral politics is not acceptable anymore in the Indian politics. I mean, no matter how tall a leader you are. That has created a lot of problems for the Congress party. Secondly, I think Uttarakhand, if you look at the polity, it is essentially a polity which is right of the center because of the demography of the state. A state which has almost 70 to 75% upper caste population. A lot of people work in the armed forces, retired defense personnel. A very high percentage of women who come out and vote are vis-a-vis men. So a state which has a very, predilection towards the right hand of the Indian polity. I did not travel extensively in Uttarakhand, so my assessment is only second hand. UP I can speak first hand because I traveled extensively. My assessment is that I think women came out and voted in large numbers for the BJP. I personally, have relatives there who would tell me that, the women folk in a household have voted for the BJP. The second aspect is that it is also indicative of the flaws and the problems, structural problems in the Congress's entire electoral or organizational edifice. That Archis, in the last 10 years, there is only one state, Chhattisgarh, which the Congress has won comprehensively in state elections. Every other state, wherever they managed to win, they have won. They have just scraped through. So Congress's, the bulwark, the organizational bulwark of the Congress party, even in these small states where there is a bipolar polity and they are up against BJP in a straight fight, I think they are not being able to sustain and stand up. to the BJP's electioneering, and that ultimately led to the debate. But I think it was completely mismanagement on the part of the Congress, the way they handled the ticket distribution in the run up to the polls.
Sanjay ji, coming back to you, how do you see the dynamics between the state leadership in the BJP and the central leadership working out now that we are quite clear that BJP is winning a comfortable majority? Do you think this win would be attributed to Prime Minister Modi's charisma? Do you think there'll be people who will say, no, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath had an equal role given that people voted for law and order, better law and order security situation? What's your take on that?
Well, to begin with, let me first point out one thing, that if we analyze the elections and look at the factors that may have led to BJP's win in Uttar Pradesh, more than anything else, we'll find that it is the Western Uttar Pradesh that has again helped BJP, form the government, because BJP is currently leading it on about 260 seats. Out of 20 has been won by the alliance partners. So the expectation of the SP alliance was more from the western side, less from the central and eastern part. It has happened the other way around. That is first point. So all these talks of the Labharti and all those things, that has helped the BJP, but that is not to the extent that it could win an election in Uttar Pradesh if you analyze it at last. Now, coming back to your question,
so you're saying the Hindutva umbrella is still intact?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And there may have been a migration of a section of Dalit towards BJP, but that has not helped BJP in winning. What has helped BJP in winning again, that is the Western UP, because what we are seeing that as many as 10 districts, BJP has swept 10 districts in Uttar Pradesh, in Western UP, including Mathura, which has a considerable Jat population, and also Muzaffarnagar and Shamli. So this goes to show that it is not like that. Labhartis may have helped BJP, but then the reason for its win, which doesn't seem to be spectacular to me, because BJP, I think, may have won around 245 seats as of now, leading 245 seats. So a difference of 30-40 seats would have made a lot of difference. And that is where the Western UP has come handy for BJP again, because of this polarization. Now, the second question that you asked about Modi and versus Yogi Adityanath. Now, I would say that there are going to be, rumblings in BJP on this question, because BJP's tally, which was 271, 272 at a few minutes ago, it has now come down to 260. And SP's tally has gone up to 135. A difference of 10, 15 seats again, BJP will win, of course, but it will put Adityanath in a very tough situation. And there may be demands for his replacement. And it is very true that the BJP workers, I was just talking to a BJP in Uttar Pradesh, and he told me very clearly that this win is, the credit for this win goes to Narendra Modi, the way he took the charge, the way he visited Uttar Pradesh, addressed more than 2 dozen election rallies, the way he galvanized, enthused the party workers. Adityanath couldn't have done it. So, and one more point is that that may have helped BJP in winning these elections, is that the Brahmin votes, they did not migrate to Akhilesh, as was being talked about. And that is also courtesy Narendra Modi. So, of course, there is going to be some rumblings on that, definitely.
Gautam, as we were discussing earlier, and you had a very insightful explanation for that, what happens within the Aam Aadmi Party now? Because Aam Aadmi Party was primarily a party of Delhi, although it did well in Punjab in 2017 assembly polls. However, its Lok Sabha representation has been thanks to Punjab, both in 2014 and 19. Now Punjab has 13 Lok Sabha seats, Delhi has 7. And this will be also the first time that Aam Aadmi Party will have a full state at its command, at its control, including a police force, which it does not have in Delhi. How do you see the equation between Bhagwant Mann and Arvind Kejriwal, who is kind of a supremo of his party? And how do you see Aam Aadmi Party managing a state like Punjab? Because Punjab has its own characteristics. It cannot be compared to really to any other state. You need to unmute.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. See, Bhagwant Mann has expressed his disliking for Kejriwal in the past. There was a case of defamation against Arvind Kejriwal, which was filed by senior Akali leader and brother of Harsimrat Kaur, Bikram Singh Majithia. So he tendered an apology in the court, which did not go down well with Bhagwant Mann and his party colleagues. So Bhagwant Mann kind of distanced himself from Kejriwal, which Kejriwal did not like. In the run-up to the elections, there were this discussion that whether the Aam Aadmi Party should announce a CM face or not, because it did not have a CM face in the last election. Arvind Kejriwal was not in favor of Bhagwant Mann because Bhagwant Mann has the capability of showing his eyes to Kejriwal, which he has done in the past. Not so much like the other MPs, like the other ones who have left the party. Now, as somebody just now said that Congress was in Punjab was working to how to lose the election. Aam Aadmi Party realized it well that they could leave their internal wranglings to another day to fight. There were talks that Raghav Chadha could also be made the chief minister. And finally, they went in for a Jat seat. Now, this how it helped is because in the last elections in 2017, nearly about 30% of the vote, 33% of the Jat Sikhs from the Malwa region, the votes of the Jat Sikhs went to the Aam Aadmi Party in their maiden election. And they were all these, the seats were with the Akali Dal and not so much with the Congress. So a large chunk of the Jat Sikhs votes the Aam Aadmi Party managed in the last election. So having a Jat Sikh as a chief minister gave a lot of advantage to the Aam Aadmi Party. At the same time, they had a mix, so they could also get the best of the Dalit votes in Punjab. I do not think that it's going to be a smooth sail for Bhagwant Mann, given that Kejriwal is a very ambitious man, and there is not much he's he's not able to flex his muscles in Delhi. But Punjab is one full state, as you said, it will have a such state police also. I don't think, Bhagwant Mann will have much of say in that. But I think it's time now for them to rejoice the elections because it's a long way ahead.
Thanks. Sumir, one of the highlights in Manipur is the decline, near decimation of the Congress. How do you see this across Northeast panning out? Would it strengthen regional parties? Would it give more confidence to parties like Trinamool Congress to venture into the Northeast, try and displace the Congress? How do you see this unfolding? Can you unmute yourself, Sumit?
Yeah. So yes, in Manipur, it's a big setback for Congress because in 2017 they emerged as the single largest party. And before that, Congress was in power for 3 consecutive terms. So in 2017, they became the second largest party, but they could not form a government. This time, their number has come down in a big way. And as the trend is showing, the seats which Congress has lost, those seats have gone to the regional parties, the NPP, Naga People's Front, and JDU. Because in NPP in 2017 got only 4 seats. Now they are leading in 11 seats. Again, Naga People's Front, they have also increased their tally. They are leading in 7 seats compared to 4 in 2017. So yes, regional parties have increased their tally, whereas Congress is going down. And as far as the TMC is concerned, Trinamool is concerned, TMC although did not contest in Manipur election this time. But yes, we are going to have election in Meghalaya and Tripura. And Tripura already TMC has set its eyes, to form the government in 2013. And in Meghalaya, as you all are aware that, Meghalaya, TMC has already become the biggest opposition party after all 13 MLS, joined the TMC. So it is going to be, it will definitely give a confidence to TMC before the elections next year in Meghalaya and Tripura.
Sanjay ji, did you want to add something?
No.
Sumit, last word to you, since you've also covered national politics closely. This complete absence of a rallying force in the opposition space. What does it do to national politics now? What does it do to the Congress? There'll be rumblings within the Congress. What does it do to the BJP? Will there be this reinforced, strengthened Hindutva push? How do you see it?
Just a moment. One small point which I wanted to make regarding Western UP. Some of the seats in Muzaffarnagar districts and Shamli Kairana are showing very interesting trends if you were to look at it. Say in a place like Budhana, which has a high Jat population, even the Tekets of Sisauli, their villages in Budhana.
Yes.
BSP's Muslim candidate is polling 3% votes. BSP's Muslim candidate in Budhana is polling 3% votes in a constituency where there will be 15 to 18% Jata voters, which is very surprising, which is why I'm raising this point. And I think we need to study this statistically. I don't think BSP would have ever polled in single digits after 1989 in a place like Budhana in Gujarat.
True.
These are very interesting trends, and one needs to, in Charthawal, in the adjoining constituency, which is a Jat-dominated constituency, Pankaj Malik, son of Harindam Malik, is losing to a OBC BSP Saini candidate. And the BSP's Muslim candidate is getting only 11,000 votes. So where has the BSP vote gone? Numbers tell you a story, which is why I said, I think these would make for fascinating stories, post-poll analysis in the days ahead.
Secondly, just on that subject,
you wanted to ask.
Do you think since abject, a lot of the poor also belong to the Dalit communities, do you think since they'll also be the larger beneficiaries of the Labharti section, do you think that's happened here? Or are there other?
I do not know, but where has the BSP vote gone? Has it gone to SP, or has it created another buffer for the Bharatiya Janata Party, that even if a section of the OBC voters, which was very assiduously voted by Akhilesh Yadav through Mandal 2.0, which I used to call, has that been compensated by a section of the subaltern communities other than the OBCs? I'm not sure. But I could sense that there was a very large section which was moving away, and that needs to be analyzed, and that would make for a fascinating post-poll analysis of Uttar Pradesh. This is what I'm saying. The other point about the national issue, I think AAP is going to project itself as the alternative to the BJP, or the rightful inheritor to the Congress's legacy, and I think they have played it very smartly in the sense that they have not conceded the right of the center political space to the BJP as the Congress did. In the last 15 to 20 years, cornering itself, or to a position wherein it almost became a party which represented the left mindset.
Yes.
So I think they are going to do that. They are going to play very aggressively in Himachal in December. It's a small state adjoining Punjab. They are going to play very aggressively in Gujarat, where Congress has been losing for 30 years. So if there is a space and the alternate, and the people are looking at the alternative, and Congress is not being able to provide one, then they would want to latch it with both their hands. So I think you are going to see a concerted effort. Whether they succeed or not, and how it's going to pan out, is an entirely different debate. But there will be a concerted effort on that.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Sanjay ji. Thank you, Gautam. Thanks a lot, Sumit and Sumir. We are totally out of time, and that'll be a wrap from us. Thanks for watching us, and keep tracking our election coverage on DeccanHerald.com. Thank you.
Thank you.